Hi guys, so welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I actually want to discuss a my ultimate guide of reading unsung Black authors. As you guys know, I classify them as unsung, meaning that they're not well known, not really talked about. And getting back in my reading, I had discovered a list that I found on Google of Black authors that you should read. And while, reading that and really digging and excavating, I had picked out some, authors like Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, Alice Walker, just to name a few. And so after getting into that list, I wanted to read books that no one talked about. I always love the hidden gems. I love the underdogs. So I wanted to share with you guys this guide of books that I had, read. And again, these are books that no one really talks about, or, they're not really just splash everywhere. And to me, those are the best books. So let's just get started. So the first one is The Women of Brewster's Place by Gloria Naylor. Now this actually is, it has this one, it has Linden Hills, and then it has The Men of Brewster's Place. So there's 3 books. I have been aware of this because growing up, I watched the TV movie. It starred Oprah Winfrey. She produced it. It had Lynn Whitfield, Robin Givens, Cicely Tyson, Leon. Those are just a few of the authors. Of the actors. And when I tell you this book is unbelievable. So it's like mini series. They're like mini stories. These, Black women, they come to Brewster's Place. It's a project, excuse me. So they come to, this place to live, and they all come with like a problem or a story of why they got to Brewster's Place. Unbelievable. Gloria Naylor is an author that she knows how to tell a story. And the way that, Oprah captured that in this mini series is just unbelievable. Obviously, I would suggest you guys read the book, but if you don't want to read the book, at least watch the mini series. You won't regret it. Next is Jessie Redmond Fawcett. Now she's a Harlem Renaissance author. You guys know I'm into Harlem Renaissance. She really got overlooked. But with Jessie, if we didn't have Jessie, we wouldn't have had Langston Hughes. She was a mentor and discovered a lot of the, authors from the Harlem Renaissance, and he was one of them. But this book, Plum Bun, is unbelievable. It talks about passing. It talks about gender roles. It talks about a little bit about sexuality. But the main thing is passing. A lot of books in the Harlem Renaissance and, that era, it talked about obviously race and passing. You had a lot of Blacks that were able to pass and that did. And the main protagonist, Angela, she passes, but she realizes it's not so green on the other side. So you just see how she basically live in this world as a white woman, but she has a sister, Virginia, that is my color, and clearly I cannot pass. And some things that she does, it kind of hurts her sister a little bit, but Virginia knows what's up. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore because I will tell the whole tea. But guys, pick this up. Next is Pearl Marshall, Brown Girl, Brownstone. Now this is like an early classic. She was before Toni, before Maya, before Alice. This book was debuted in 1956, I believe, and it's a coming of age story. It's about a family that is from Barbados. They live in New York, and you have a mom that she wants the best for her children. She wants her children to be educated, to be able to have something of their own. And their dad is like, I just want to go back to Barbados. I'm sick of being in New York. I'm sick of all this. And you have, the main protagonist, Selena. Selena's just like, what what is it about Selena? I like Selena, but um she knows what's up when it comes to her parents and what's going on in society and all of that. And she just really wants to like live her own life and do what she wants to do. But this book is such it's a classic. It's an unknown classic. Because when I discovered the year it came out, I was like, oh, she's like ahead of everyone and no one really talks about her. But this book, unbelievable. Please read. Next is, I love this author. I love all of these, but I love this author. J. California Cooper. I was not into short stories, but after reading hers, I got into them. J. California Cooper, she knows how to tell a tale. She honestly does. I had recently discovered one of her short stories called My Funny Valentine. Now, that actually was a TV movie. It used to always premiere on BET. It stars Loretta Devine. It stars Alfre Woodard. You guys, those women can act. And that was a short story, and I did not know. And I absolutely love that short story, and love that movie. So just the gist of it, that movie is about two cousins. They're from the South. Derry B, she is kind of mentally challenged. She has like a mind of maybe 10-year-old. And Joyce May comes to visit Derry B, which is one of her favorite cousins. And oh my goodness. So the movie's a little bit different than the book, but some things happen in the movie that, you know, transpire, and you see how that is. In the book, it's like 7 pages, but you still get the gist of the story. But it's just their love that Derry B and Joyce May has for each other. And, you know, although Derry B is, you know, has special needs, it's just she knows how to love, and she loves Joyce May, and Joyce May loves her. Such a good story. But my favorite story out of this collection is probably It's Without Love. Without Love is about two girls that have grown up together, and one of the women, her name's Topsy, she is like hot to trot fast. And the way that the other woman, I forgot her name, but the way that the other friend describes Topsy when she hasn't seen her in a while it's hilarious. I literally was cracking up when I was reading it. Yeah, so I love J. California Cooper. She's just phenomenal. And fun fact, Alice Walker actually discovered her. Alice Walker told her, if you write some of your short stories into plays, I will publish you, and she did. So kudos to Alice Walker. Next is Evas Man. This is Gail Jones. Now, this is the only Gail Jones book I've read. I have another one that I want to read. She actually just came out with another book last year, and the last time she came out with a book was like over 15 years ago. But one thing I say about Gail Jones is you got to get your mind right when you read Gail Jones, because it's like oddly beautiful. That's how I describe it. Her writing is beautiful, but the stories are it's odd. And for this one, it was really odd. Oh yeah, it was real odd, but her writing it's beautiful. And I can't wait to pick up her latest book that she published last year. Next is Marina Golden. Love Marina Golden. Marina Golden actually is the founder of the Hurston Wright Foundation. And her writing is like, again, it's like no other. She is just a phenomenal writer. This book, reason why I love this book, is called And Do Remember Me. It talks about being abused sexually, but the way she talks about it is like no other book I've read. She really gets in the mind of the victim, of how you actually feel, and not while in the act, but also like aftermath. Sometimes people, you know, we just think about what happened to them, but it's like, okay, what happened afterwards? How were they able to go on in society and just go on with their normal life? And this book depicts that. It was really hard to read, but it was really necessary. And like I said, I have never read a book like this before, especially when it came to the victim of sexual abuse, and especially like incest. That's all I really can say about it. Just a phenomenal book. Next is Blues Dancing by Diane Mckinney Westone. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What actually got me to reading this book really was the cover. And I saw it and I read the synopsis and I'm like, okay. And I had to get into it. So this book, it talks about a girl that she is, what's her name? Verda. Verda comes from a prominent family. Her father is a preacher, but she goes to college and she meets this man who basically turns her out. And she gets on drugs, but you have a professor that saves her, but this professor is like just infatuated with her because Verda is just, she's wickedly smart. But you know, she just got caught up, and you just see how she's able to get her life together because of this professor. But her true love of you know, this man, what's this man's name? Yeah, Johnson, I think that's his name. Yeah. So she gets, you know, in cahoots with Johnson, and like I said, he turns her out. But this book, oh my goodness, I read it in the beginning of January. And I couldn't put it down. I could not actually have a video on me actually reading it. And it's undescribable. It's like I can't even describe it to you. Her words are like, they're it's like, it's so lyrical and it's so there, but also too, she knows, she captures the story, she captures the essence of the characters, and you feel like, you know, like I felt like I knew Verda, like Verda was a person, a real person walking this earth. And the same thing with Roe, and the same thing with Johnson. Yeah, she knows how to, she grabs you. She honestly does grab you. This will not be my last book. After reading this, I actually bought like 3 of her books, because if I like a character, if I like a book, I will get the other you know, books by this author, because I just want to, you know, get immersed in another world that they have created, and she is one of them. And the last one is actually a it's a memoir, and it is Growing Up X by Elise Shabazz. Now, Elise Shabazz is one of Malcolm X's daughters. I love Elise. She's just so brilliant, and then she's beautiful. But this book, it just, let me just tell you about it. So basically, she's talking about the aftermath of her father. Now, Eliasa was like a baby. This is her with her dad. So she says she knows a little bit of, kind of remember her dad, but really she, you know, what she really remembers is just the stories that her mom, you know, told her and her sister. She said that although her dad wasn't physically there, but she always felt like he was there because her mom, Betty Shabazz, she said, you know, she kept daddy alive, kept that memory. And it was an eye-opener, but also it was sad too, because when you think of you know, Malcolm X, this great leader, and he was a fantastic father and a fantastic husband, but no one would touch their family. And you know, before he was assassinated, their house was firebombed, so they didn't have anywhere to go, and no one touched them. They didn't even want to be associated with Betty and her kids. And granted, Betty had like, what, 3 kids already and was pregnant with twins. And who really came to help her was the Ozzie Davis, and Ruby Dee, you know, the actors that really came to help her out. It was Cindy Poitier. You had just a list of people that really helped Betty out. But she just talks about how it was growing up, basically. And her mom was just phenomenal. Betty Shabazz was an unbelievable woman. And, you know, she talks about the love for her mom, her sisters, her uncles. Because also, too, you know, because of Malcolm X, and a lot of times her family, they couldn't even really talk to one another because it was just the way they couldn't really associate with, you know, sometimes their family members on their dad's side, because it was just so dangerous. You know, you get in contact with Malcolm's family and you could be like assassinated, you could be killed just like he was. So you know, after he, you know, did pass, her, you know, her family from her dad's side got, you know, really close. And again, you just see how Betty raised these daughters, these beautiful daughters. And Elise Shabazz, I love her. So I actually have a couple books by her, and yeah, I such a great you know, nonfiction. I don't read nonfiction. This is one of them that I picked up, and this is a book that I have never forgotten. I read this book, I want to say back in college on my own, and I had revisited it, and it was just, it's unbelievable. So pick it up. And I love this cover. It's so pretty. So yeah, guys, that's all I have. This is probably gonna be part 1, because I have more books that are unsung, that, you know, like I said, no one really talks about. So many, you know, brilliant Black authors, male and female, because this whole catalog was not any males. I'm working on that, because, like, you know, I want to read more male authors. But again, I wanted to, you know, just give you guys a guide of some books that that I classify as unsung, because these are just amazing. So that's all I have for you guys. I'll be back with more unsung books. Bye.